Welcome to Electrified. Welcome to Monday. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. You're taking a look at some pictures shared by G4 Tesla on Twitter of the inside of Giga Berlin, specifically the drive unit and the body in white facilities. And before we get into it, check this out. Here is a Tesla poster and image that has been around for some time, but if you zoom in, you find this, the Tesla tequila bottle. It's little surprising to light things like this, along with all of the other Easter eggs over the years that really go a long way to differentiate Tesla from everyone else, and it's part of what makes Tesla so much fun to follow and easy to support. I'm not sure who first found this to give credit, but it's making its way around Twitter today. We did get a quick note from Fred at Electric about potential delays at Giga Berlin due to lack of permits that came about, but the only real substance from the article was a German translation that said, quote, "The construction work on the new Tesla plant in Grünheide is currently not progressing as planned. The reason is a lack of permits for further clearing and the paint shop." End quote. But if you remember, last week we showed pictures of the paint equipment being lifted into the paint shop. So before anyone panics, let's let this story develop a bit more. I just wanted to put it on your radar for now. Vincent and Ray for Tesla both shared on Twitter that 6 made in China Model 3s were seen in Hong Kong. Vin starting with LRW indicate made in China. With these being right-hand drive vehicles, aka the drivers on the right-hand side of the car, it may not be long before we see made in China 3s in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, South Africa, and other places where the driver is on the right-hand side. But this becomes even more interesting when we factor in the next big news item for today. I believe it was first reported by Kelvin Yang on Twitter, who said, quote, "Rumor, Tesla China plans to produce 550,000 vehicles in 2021, 300,000 Model 3, 250,000 Model Y, among which 100,000 Model 3 and 10,000 Model Y are for export." He then followed up saying orders have been sent to core suppliers. So this is a really specific rumor, especially the part where they would have plans for export numbers already an entire year in advance. These reports were coming from unnamed insiders. If we take a look at Tesla's most recent installed production capacity, we see that at the end of Q3 2020, they have the capacity for 250,000 Model 3s. Now, an important reminder, installed capacity does not equal production rate. This is a hypothetical 24/7, around the clock, no maintenance, no downtime figure. I think there could also be some confusion between actual production and run rate. If the target for Model Y production is to reach 5,000 units per week in 2021, that does not mean they produce 5,000 cars every week. It means they hope to reach 5,000 per week for at least 1 week in 2021. Of course, we expect this figure to grow throughout the course of 2021 in Shanghai, and it could also be argued the Model Y production ramp can scale faster than the Model 3 with new manufacturing efficiencies, but you can see why a 550,000 production number seems high. I personally believe it's, of course, in the realm of possibilities, but I'll let you take this how you would like. And no matter what their plans are, as we've learned in 2020, sometimes things do not go according to plan. But to put a bow on this topic, I will be tempering expectations until we get official guidance for 2021 from Tesla on the Q4 call. Either way though, the fact that there is a non-zero chance of Tesla producing 1 million cars in 2021 is incredible and, quite frankly, beyond our full comprehension. Next up, we got a cool little clip from Ed Jones on Twitter sharing a Model Y plowing through some fairly deep water, and Elon replied, "Wait until you see what Cybertruck can do. Trust us, Elon, we are all waiting for exactly this." This next news item is definitely a rumor, however, it's a very interesting one, so I wanted to put it out there. It comes from a pretty reliable source that said, quote, "Tesla wants to use Navi 23 for their cars," end quote. Now, stick with me for the next few minutes as I try to unpack all of this. For starters, Patrick Shore is a software engineer who usually leaks specs on AMD engineering samples, and according to the chip community, he's typically spot on. Navi 23 is a GPU that could be used to power Tesla's infotainment system. Tesla Arcade and Tesla Toybox have apparently been held back by Tesla's current infotainment chip from Intel. The Toybox is basically the simple gags and tricks like the digital whoopee cushion, the wood burning fire, karaoke, etc. But that said, said this would have much further reaching applications than simply games and tricks. Navi 23 would come from AMD or Advanced Micro Devices. They are a chip, aka GPU, CPU, APU maker that has been absolutely on fire over the last year and a stock to look at, but that's another topic. And by the way, an APU is just an accelerated processing unit, meaning it has a CPU and GPU on the same chip. A big part of their success has been their new leader, Lisa Su. This chick is one of the most respected leaders on the planet, no hyperbole. She really is an amazing CEO from everything that I've read, and the results are speaking for themselves. Let's take a quick listen to her chat with Jim Cramer that took place October 28th about their recent $35 billion acquisition of Xilinx. You'll understand why shortly.
Are these markets and markets ones that you want to be in? Do you want to be in automotive?
Yes. So absolutely. So when you look, our base AMD, TAM or market opportunity is about 80 billion, right? Great markets, big markets. They move quickly and well. When you add Xilinx, what you add is, first of all, we're both still very focused on the data center, so that's the number one priority of the company. But they bring, a great, communications, 5G capability. They also bring, as you said, automotive. That's a market that we haven't been in, but that market needs our technology as well.
So it's clear Lisa wants to make waves in the automotive space, a task their most recent acquisition can and will help them with. And it's very important to note this chip would be entirely separate from Tesla's in-house full self-driving computer. This rumor, if true, would be for the infotainment system or their MCU media control unit. As you can see, Pat responded to a few tweets reiterating this point. The Model 3 currently uses an Intel Atom processor for the MCU too, so this is what powers gaming, navigation, streaming, basically everything through the user interface. So as Tesla continues to add new features to their infotainment, setting up for a full self-driving future, it will continually use more power. An upgrade to this processor would theoretically improve visualizations on the screen, especially for gaming, a place where we know Elon wants to add more options. So this processor chip game is all about efficiency, processing power, and performance per watt. Basically, if there's a chip out there that's more powerful, we know there are, that can run specific tasks well, AMD is known to collaborate with their partners that can also reduce the power used to save on range and overall efficiency without being cost prohibitive. There would be no reason for Tesla not to make a move like this as long as the volume of supply is there, which by all speculation seems to be the case. So you may be sitting there saying to yourself, well, Tesla already has a very smooth high resolution media unit, and you are right. But if Tesla is planning something like a more advanced full self-driving visualization, say for example 3D maps or a 4K display, a new, more powerful chip would certainly make logical sense. If you're curious about the specs of Navi 23, I've linked to an article below. We got some more details about Starlink's performance, specifically in the snow. A few users have been reporting pictures of the terminal covered in snow and ice and still delivering usable speeds. There's been much debate about if the terminal has a heating element that activates when it senses a certain temperature threshold, and although no one has opened the dish to confirm yet that I've seen, we know that because it draws around 100 watts of power, this alone generates enough heat to melt any snow on the dish. So while snow does not directly impact performance from the results we've seen, there are definitely varying speeds throughout the day, presumably due to the lack of operational satellites. Muric Acid on Reddit shared that they see roughly one dropout of service about 10 to 15 seconds per hour, which is a hard drop, meaning no service at all. We also had Reddit user Digital Youper test Starlink while moving, and for now, it did not work while on the go. To wrap up today's episode, Ray for Tesla also tweeted that a second batch of Model 3s has left Shanghai for export, and that Giga Shanghai is making around 800 Model 3s per day, giving us yet another reason to be excited about Q4 results. 800 units per day times 344 days to allow for 3 weeks of downtime would be 275,200 units. But that'll wrap it up for today's episode of Tesla News. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Please take a moment to like the video if you did. Consider subscribing for more Tesla content, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hope you have a great day.